Today on the Home Strategist, part 2 of the first segment of what makes this house great, where I discuss how to strategically identify the elements of a home that make it a winner while breaking down an actual property. Right now, you'll get to see what I did to this house and the financial outcomes of my decisions. You'll also get to hear what I would have changed in hindsight. I'm Dr. C, and you're watching the Home Strategist. In part 1, I didn't spend a lot of time talking about the exterior of the home, so I wanted to discuss the curb appeal. As you can see, when I bought this home, it was pretty overgrown. The lawn had been mowed regularly, but the landscaping around the house was neglected. I made the choice to go simple and clean. I regraded the backfill around the house and added mulch and some plantings to bring some greenery to the overall look. I did cut off the railing next to the sidewalk steps because one leg of it was broken off and it was a safety hazard. Overall, I just did a minor dress up, but I think it made a big difference. Full disclosure, this photo shows the home after I sold it. And as you can see, the new owners had the exterior stucco and foundation painted, which I think looks amazing. The living room space was already clean, inviting, and cozy. As a result, all I focused on here was electrical, with new light fixtures and the hidden upgrade of replacing the knob and tube wiring and outlets with modern, up-to-code systems. The living and dining area photos already give away the major improvement I made on the first floor, but really very little was done to the original dining room space I inherited when I purchased the home. Again, just new light fixtures and electrical. As you can see, I also eliminated the attic door because as a result of my work upstairs, the attic became a climate-controlled, livable environment with its own privacy separation, which kind of made the door unnecessary. Then, obviously, you can see the blowout I did to the wall separating the kitchen and dining area. This was a non-load-bearing wall, so I was free to do what I wanted with it. So I opened up the space and created a nice casual breakfast bar in the process. Not a full-on eating space for a whole family, but enough room for 2 to 3 stools. I also mimicked the archway from the living room, both over the bar area as well as the entrance to the new second floor converted attic space. Before I discuss the kitchen, I want to take a minute to talk about the exposed chimney. I cannot stress enough that I believe this is what sold this home. As many designers do, I also believe in focal points in houses. It could be a feature wall in a family room, a dramatic range hood in the kitchen, or some other detail that catches people's eyes. From the unfinished attic and basement, I knew that there was an unused brick chimney lurking behind the plaster on the main floor. It literally took me about 90 minutes with a hammer drill to expose it. I cleaned some of the plaster residue off of the brick, and this chimney became that focal point in this house from top to bottom. Even with all the other work that I did in the house, this was the part I think I was the most proud of just because it looked so cool. I decided right away that because of the age, setting, and sort of the overall vibe of the home, that I wanted the kitchen to take on a farmhouse style direction. I removed the old plain plywood cabinets and replaced them with timeless gray shaker cabinets. You can see the farmhouse sink and faucet that I installed. And, I didn't completely rearrange the layout. I just put the right components in place. The Spanish and caustic style tile was very popular at the time and still is, so I decided to go with that look, which added some more color and character to the room. As I talked about in part 1, most of the main floor was clean and freshly painted with new flooring. So in the bedroom, I mainly focused again on electrical and light fixtures. There was an awkward double entrance in the back bedroom where the room could be accessed from either the bedroom hallway or, oddly enough, the back door area. I removed the access from the back door because I just thought it was weird. And that created another full wall and corner where furniture could be placed. In the bathroom, I replaced the light fixtures and mirror. I also thought it was better to have a proper vanity to give users some storage and surface space, given this was the main floor bath and it serviced both bedrooms. The biggest change in the bathroom was the subway tile I added around the tub. And then there's my favorite place, and that's the attic. As we also discussed in part one, the attic was an unfinished blank slate. I decided early on that making this house a 3 versus 2 bedroom was important. Creating a full owner suite in this attic space seemed like a total no-brainer to me. So, coming up the stairs, people were greeted with a vestibule that could double as a small office space. The door you see in the corner here was to a large walk-in closet. Through the pocket door next to the stairs was the bed and bathroom space. A nice sized bedroom with plenty of room for a king-size bed and furniture. And, as a consequence, I installed a casement window in here for egress codes, but that also brought in a bunch of extra natural light, which was great. I also added an ensuite bathroom with double sinks and a fiberglass shower unit. Again, note the exposed chimney in the bathroom, which was a big hit. There's a total of 3 separate closets in the finished attic, so I added a ton of extra storage space for whoever lives here. And next to the visual of the exposed chimney, as I hoped, this attic owner suite became the main feature of this home. It was warm, inviting, and comfortable. It was a great place to not only sleep, but curl up with a book and just hang out. The view out the windows was great, and everything was finished off with new light fixtures, modern electrical components, and HVAC. I also didn't spend a lot of time in part one talking about the garage and backyard, but I did share that the garage was a bit of a tragedy. I cleaned that up with new siding, which helped a lot, but to be honest, by the time I got to the garage, I was kind of out of gas and out of budget. So what I did certainly wasn't perfect, but I think it was a big improvement over what was there when I started. And I just wanted to note what a great backyard this home had. It was roomy with a big shade tree. You can picture kids playing, grilling out, backyard games, and the whole outdoor vibe. What would I have changed? Honestly, not that much. I think swapping out the knob and tube wiring was maybe a bit of an overreach and perhaps an unnecessary expense. I did have a great local electrician do that work for me, and he provided a really reasonable estimate and did a great job. I probably should have just left the main floor bathroom alone. It really wasn't that bad as is. And it really wasn't as much the expense of the work as it was just the time that it took to do it, especially the subway tile around the tub. As I mentioned earlier, this outside photo was taken when the folks who bought the house from me sold it a few years later. You can see that they had the house painted, which I think really dressed it up. And I think the money that I spent on the wiring and the bathroom could have been better channeled toward this instead. I paid $100,000 for the home. I put about $45,000 of materials and outside labor into it. I did most of the work myself, with the plumbing and electrical being handled by outside trades. It was listed, and there was a bidding war with 5 offers coming in within hours of it going up online. I ended up selling the home for $203,000 with no contingencies, not even a home inspection. The new owners lived there for a couple of years, and they listed the home for $223,900. They ended up selling it for $237,000. So obviously there was another bidding war. So I'm happy and proud that I added value to the home and that value carried forward to the next owner. You can do this too. And that's part of what makes this and other houses like it great. You wouldn't even need to blow out the wall, open up the floor plan, do all that stuff. Just the attic and the kitchen alone would have resulted in major equity growth for any homeowner. As a side note, I got to know one of the daughters of the original owner. She grew up in the house. She stopped by several times to watch the progress I was making. She loved what I was doing to the home, which was a great form of validation for me because I know how hard it can be for people to see the home they grew up in change. I can't wait to do another installment of What Makes This House Great, where I will dig into another property and discuss the decisions you can make to build value and become a home strategist. Thanks for checking out the Home Strategist. If you appreciated this content, give us a like, drop us a comment, and please subscribe to the channel.